Welcome, YouTubers, to my first stream. My name's Bakawheel, gaming for almost 30 years, in computer role-playing games, all the way back starting with Dragon Warrior for the regular Nintendo. This is Pathfinder Kingmaker, my favorite RPG so far. I actually love the actual Pathfinder rules. Part of the reason I love this from the customization. That might change now in a couple months when they got Wrath of the Righteous coming. Forward to that. I already have my copy bought, just waiting for it to come out. So this is Kingmaker. This video will just be a little bit of an overview of the character creation. I'm not going to go into super amount of detail in all the individual things, but just give you a general view of what you can pick. As well as a couple other little things as we go through. Hope you enjoy. Our title screen on the new game. So first thing you do is you select your scenario. The main story, start level 1. Ironhold's Lot takes place at part around chapter 3. I don't recommend playing this before you've played through the main story that far, but you can, it's up to yourselves. You start level 5, Ironhold's Lot. And Beneath the Stone Lands, which is like a roguelike. You make your entire party fight down through this deep dungeon. This DLC does add something to the main story too, which maybe we'll go through together. After this, difficulty. Like I said before, this is based on the Pathfinder's RPG. So if you don't know that, I would recommend going easy or normal at most. I'm using the turn-based mode. I find that's fine for normal. Real time with pause, I actually found easy for the first time. The one thing is, if you select the easy, it auto-levels your companions. You can change this if you want to level them up yourself. You can change all of these in any of the difficulties and make custom difficulty. Okay, let's go normal. Character, you can do their pre-built characters. But we'll do home. Select your portrait first. So, you want a decent idea of what you're making. Select your portrait. Just to tell you, these portraits starting here, going through to here, these are all characters in the game itself. So you're going to see them. If you don't mind that, that's fine. I find it a little weird to play a character and then meet that character. And the last two here are ones I added. The Nexus mods, the Heroes of the Stolen Lands, and use this little button down here. Allows you to add your own custom portraits. So you can do that. Okay, so what races are available? Well, first, humans. I won't go through all the details, all of them, but a little overview. So, you know what a human is? We're all human, so I assume we all are. We get a +2 to any ability score you want. You get a bonus feat, first level. So these are abilities that you have. They sometimes add extra things you could do, or just make you do other things better. And they get 1 extra skill point per level, including at the beginning. Elves get a bonus to their dexterity and intelligence, but a negative to their constitution. Next thing they have is their Elven Immunity. So they get immune to sleep, and they get a bonus when people cast enchantment spells on them. Just this fact. Dwarves get a bonus to their constitution and their wisdom. Next thing they have is slow and steady. So a lot of the shorter races are slow. They only move 20 feet instead of 30. But dwarves, this can't be modified further by armor or encumbrance. You just can move 20. Whereas things like gnomes and halflings, who also only move 20, they wear heavy armor, reduces it down again. Gnome, a nice bonus they get is illusion, resistance, and no magic. So they're actually a little better at casting illusion spells and harder to resist, but they resist other people's illusion spells better. They're going to do an illusionist. Gnome is a nice choice. Halfling, they get a bonus to be in fear, to not become afraid. Also, they get halfling luck, so they get a +1 bonus to all saving throws, and that stacks. They actually get a +3 bonus. Half-elves. Gnomes, bonus to constitution and charisma, negatives to strength. Halfling, bonus to dexterity and charisma. Get a minus. Half-elves get to pick +2 to whatever they want. They also get the same elven immunities that elves get, but they also get the bonus feat of humans. Only difference is it has to be a skill focus feat. So they get a real big bonus to one particular skill. Half orcs, they get the skilled bonus from humans. So +1 to all skill ranks. But they get the orc ability, Orc Ferocity. So if they're brought to 0 hit points but not killed, they can keep fighting to form around. So you can heal them and they don't fall down in between. You don't have to worry about them getting hit as they stand back up. They also can keep getting just one more attack. Aesmer are half celestials. They get different bonuses to their abilities based on their heritage. They also get Light Halo, which actually works as a light spell, but also gives a +2 circumstance bonus against being blinded or dazzled. And they get a slight resistance to some things. Based on their heritage, I'll show you that in just a moment. Tieflings also get a Tiefling heritage and Fiendish resistance. Notice they don't get Light Halo, but they get a little more going on with their heritage. Let's go. We won't do classes yet, because I'm going to show you the heritages first. So base Aasimar, +2 to Wisdom and Charisma, +2 to Persuasion when used for diplomacy, and Perception checks. And they get used Searing Spell once per day. Searing Light Spell. Whereas you notice Tieflings, a little more goes on. Tiefling, they get a +2 to Dex and Intelligence, but a -2 to Charisma. They get a +2 to Persuasion when used for Bluff, to Stealth. They use the Resist Energy spell once per day. And each one of these gets a different little ability. The base Tiefling, if they're a Sorcerer or an Eldritch Scion, they can have the Abyssal or Infernal Bloodline, and they don't get their negative to Charisma bonuses. But like, for instance, Grimspawn, they get Frigid Touch spell. Hunger Seed, they get a bonus to combat maneuver checks. So they all get a different little bonus, similar to that. Base, go back to class. So what classes are available? Alchemist is a cool class. They get mutagens to boost their physical abilities while negatively affecting a mental attribute to do it, and throwing bombs. Grenader really focuses on the bombs. The Vivisectionist loses the bombs but gains sneak attack damage, which is nice. And a Chirurgian, which basically gets better abilities to heal. Barbarian is all about raging, so they get a bonus to their strength and do more damage, but it lowers their AC, so they're hit easier. Armored Hulk can basically like Barbarian, but Barbarian's only wearing light or medium armor. Armored Hulk could really focus on wearing heavier armor, but still being Barbarians. Mad Dogs get to be a Barbarian along with an animal companion, I guess, fight alongside them. Invulnerable Rager, this is basically they get a whole bunch more damage reduction than other Barbarians, so they take less damage per hit, but they lose some other things to get. Bards sing and cast spells. They are arcane casters. Normally arcane casters can't cast while wearing armor, whereas bards can cast while wearing light armor. They get to give the bonuses, their singing bonuses though, to everybody who can hear them within like 30 feet. Archaeologist doesn't get singing, but instead gives specific bonuses in the form of luck to themselves per day. Thundercaller gets some bonuses like the Thundercall song, which actually does damage to all who hear it, and gets Stormcall. Some interesting like storm-like abilities. And Flame Dancers get resistance to fire, and also the ability to cast some fire spells. Cleric are your typical healers, as in most games. They get to pick a particular deity, and based on their deity, they get to pick 2 domains, which gives them some extra abilities and extra spells per level. They are divine casters, so they can cast wearing any particular matter. They also get the ability to channel energy, which either heals people around them or damages undead. Crusader only gets 1 domain, but they get some extra combat feats, be a bit more martial class. Herald Caller again, only one domain, but they get some bonuses to summons, so summon creatures. And Ecclesiarchs is a big workaround. Ecclesiarchs just don't wear armor. Other clerics have very limited amount of weapons they can use, but one of their domains gets extra boost to it, and their other one, they get the abilities from it, like normal. They can change normally, you get bonus spells from that domain you can choose from. They can actually change what other domain of their deity they get spells from. Druid is your basic nature caster, also can change shape to other animals, as well they get an animal companion right from the beginning. Light Druid, okay, animal companion, before I do that, it's technically a nature bound. You can choose a cleric domain, air, animal, earth, fire, plant, water, or weather, instead of nature, just so you know. Blight Druid doesn't get that, but instead gets the Blight bond, so they can get the death or destruction domain from cleric, and they get the ability to have this miasma, which can sicken people, or eventually even give diseases to people. Defender of the True World gets extra bonuses while fighting Fey creatures. Whereas Fey Speaker gets some spells on Fey creatures, so you're a little more fairy-like. Then there's Fighter. Fighter gets bonuses to fighting with all and armor, and shields, all that kind of stuff. Eldori Defender doesn't get the bonuses for armor training, but instead gets defensive parry while using a dueling sword. They're really specialized in using sword. Tower Shield Specialist, on the other hand, doesn't get the weapon training, but instead gets bonuses to using a tower shield, including Burst Barrier, so reflex saves, they get bonuses to those saves. And Two-Handed Fighter, while using a two-handed weapon, they get some bonuses to damage and some less of a chance of being disarmed, things like that. Inquisitors are like the spy arm of churches. They work with the members of their fate. They do get a domain selection, a single domain, but they also get things like judgments that they can call down for a particular fight. They also get teamwork feats. Anybody can get teamwork feats, but normally you need two persons with the same feat for them to do it. Inquisitors get solo tactics, so that they can actually benefit from a teamwork feat even if nobody else has them. Monster Tactician gives up some things to get summoning. Tactical Leader shares their teamwork feats with their allies. And Sacred Huntsman actually works with an animal companion. You actually can share your teamwork feats with your animal companion. Kineticist is from a downloadable content. Here you get to choose one of the 4 elements: air, earth, fire, or water. Basically, it's Avatar: The Last Airbender. You can cast these bursts from them. You use your Constitution modifier to be able to use your physical body to do so. And 2 of these actually change that. Dark Elements just change it to Intelligence modifier, but you can't handle as much burn in your body. And in order to compensate for that, you can actually use this ability that causes pain to those you've recently killed in order to keep using your higher level abilities. Psychokineticism can handle a little more burn than a Dark Elementalist, but you use your Wisdom modifier. And Kinetic Knights, rather than shooting or blast, actually turn them into a sword, like that one. Magus are another arcane caster, but they're basically like a wizard who's also a fighter. So you get some bonuses for that. You actually basically use a one-handed weapon and a spell in the other hand. You do memorize your spells like a wizard. You get some special arcana so you can pick up on as you go. Eldritch Sion, rather than being like a wizard, is like a sorcerer. You get a sorcerer's bloodline, and you don't have to pre-memorize your spells. You spontaneously cast. Both of these, as you go up in levels, you start off with light armor, but you can actually even get up to heavy armor. Casting heavy. Sword Saint reduces the spell, the way your spells work. You don't get quite as many bonuses to that. Instead, you focus on a particular weapon, fighting with that weapon. And Eldritch Archer is all about using a bow instead of a knife, and still casting your spells with it. Monk is, you have to be lawful with a monk. There's some of these, not many, some do, but barbarians can't be neutral good, chaotic good, neutral, chaotic neutral, evil, chaotic evil. Actually, that's correct. Yeah, there you go. You have to be one of those. You can't be lawful to be a barbarian. Whereas monks, you have to be lawful. Monks are basically unarmed fighters, and you get some bonus key powers that you get to select. Traditional monk picks your key powers for you, so if you're okay with these powers, there is a benefit, because you get a bonus to your will saves. Other than that, not a lot of reason to go traditional monk. Scaled Fists is basically monks based on fighting dragons, or using dragon abilities. They trained under dragon masters. You eventually get to hit with the element of your selected dragon bloodline. Your armor, rather than being based on wisdom like most monks, is actually based on charisma. And Sensei is basically like a hybrid. You actually get to give some inspire courage abilities, like a bard would, by here this ability, even though you're an unarmed fighter. Paladin is your holy warrior. They're very restricted. They have to be lawful good. There's no getting around that. They're a holy warrior. They get smite evil to help fighting evil creatures. As well, they get lay on hands, which can use to heal themselves or heal others. Heal themselves a little faster than it does heal others. And eventually, they get channel positive energy, just a burst heal, sort of like a cleric does. The only difference is it takes 2 uses of the relay. Divine Hunter is basically a paladin that is focused on using the bow. Hospitaller is a little bit of a better healer than a regular paladin. Rather than using 2 lay on hands to channel their positive energy, they get a separate pool they use to channel positive energy. And Divine Guardian is a paladin who's really focused on protecting one or two actually abilities to protect a particular creature and get some bonus feats to go along. Ranger is my favorite class. Rangers do get Hunter's Bond, so they can either bond with their party or an animal companion to fight with, but way up at level 4. But really cool ability is their combat style feats. They get certain feats for combat styles, things like archery and that, but they don't have to be any prerequisites. So a lot of the archery feats take a lot of dexterity, for example. If you want to be a strength-based archer, you can with these guys and take those feats using combat style feats. Freebooter, some things, are for one thing, you can't get an animal companion, but you get more to actually sharing your bond with your party to be able to do that. Flame Wardens are sort of like Phoenix-inspired rangers. You actually get some spells based on fire, but you also get really cool abilities when you're high level, like level 16. When you die, you give off a burst of flame, and at level 20, you actually get immunity fire, and you can come up from destruction. When you're destroyed, you come up 1 round later, reformed. All your equipment and half your hit points. Just like a Phoenix. Stormwalker gets some bonus spells and things dealing with storms. Just like a storm flavored. Immunity electricity at level 16. Rogues, your typical thieves. They get sneak attack. They get a whole bunch of talents they can pick from. And they get trap finding, who add to their perception checks and see traps. Eldritch Scoundrel, they actually get cantrips. They get some spells. They get less sneak attack, but they get some spells. Knife Master loses their trap finding, but they do more sneak attack damage with little weapons like daggers, kukris, punching dagger, star knives, or sai. They do d8s instead of d6s. Only thing is, any other weapon they use, they only do d4s. So they really are focused on these. And a thug actually loses their trap finding to gain the frightening ability. They can actually make people scared, either frighten them or just shaken for so many rounds. So they're basically like, your big tough guy, but they still get the sneak attack. Slayer wasn't in the game at first. It was added later, and I gotta admit, I don't know this class as well. I have played base Slayer a few times, You are basically a mix of the ranger and the rogue. You get the sneak attack, like a rogue, just not quite as much. But your rogue talents are called Slayer talents, and they can be combat styles, like you get for the ranger. You can also get things like terrain feats through it. They're not bad. Vanguard gets a teamwork feat that they can actually share. Right, their teamwork feat to all allies within 30 feet, once per day starting off. It's interesting. Strengthen everybody with teamwork feats. Deliverer gets actually a domain. So there's selected kind of like holy warriors, basically, fine assassins, and actually get the ability to determine zeal to possibly the ones of opposite alignments. Spawn Slayers get bonuses to fighting larger creatures. That's interesting. Then you get down to your other arcane casters. Sorcerer is a spontaneous caster. You get a little less spells, can't cast quite as many, I believe. I know you get less spells overall. You only select them. You can't write them scrolls like a wizard can. A wizard can fill up their spell book by writing every scroll they find. Sorcerer, whatever spells you pick is the spells you get. But they do get a bloodline that gives them some bonus spells, some bonus feats. It's there. All three of these lock you to a particular bloodline. So Inferior Sorcerer locks you to the Inferior bloodline, a celestial, basically. But you get more bonuses to it. You also cast your spells using Wisdom instead of Charisma, like Sorcerer. Sylvan, like basically a Fey bloodline, you do cast using your Charisma like normal. You get an animal companion with a Sylvan Sorcerer, which is pretty neat. And Sage Sorcerer is like the arcane bloodline, really focused on it. But you cast using your intelligence modifier, which of course is mind. And finally, Wizard. Wizards are your traditional spellcasters. Can't cast an armor, just like sorcerers can't. They do get some bonus feats, and they get an arcane bond, which is either a familiar that gives you a little bit of bonus to certain abilities, or it's a bonded object, which lets you recall a spell. But you have to select your spells beforehand. Sometimes they just have that object where you recast a spell you've already cast. You find out, oh, I actually did it one more time than I thought. Arcane Bomber gives up that bond to be able to throw bombs like an alchemist. Bastion Specialist really specializes you in a particular school of magic, whereas you normally pick, they really focus you, and worse things for you can cast at all the ones that are in your opposed schools. And Scroll Savant is basically somebody who can cast scrolls better. Normally, when you get a scroll, you cast it at whatever level it says, but Scroll Savant can cast it at their caster level, so they can use scrolls better. So there, that's classes you can pick. A little bit of heritages. Pick Arcane Bond, depending on what one you pick. Don't actually follow this character. This will actually tell you what ability you need for your class. It's useful. It's might not be the only ability you need, but it is nice to know that you. Here's your skills you get. It's a reduced set from the full Pathfinder rules. Athletics is good for climbing, jumping, scaling walls. Use it sometimes as story parts of the game. Mobility, the big place you use this is actually in attacks of opportunity. When you walk by somebody, they get an attack of opportunity against you. There's a thing you can click on your action bar that lets you attempt to do a mobility check to basically scoot around them and they don't get that attack. Trickery is how you unlock chests, also how you disarm traps. Stealth says exactly what it is. You stealth and sneak your way around. Knowledge Arcana, it's magic knowledge, magic world, just that knowledge about the world. Lore Nature, the natural world, or religion, about undead and religions, and outsiders, devils and things like that. All of these are automatically done for the most part, and they let you know things about the enemies you fight, and they're also used to different checks through the game. Lore Nature is used a lot if you're skinning animals, which I do a lot to get more money. You use a lore nature check to do it. Perception, that's how you spot hidden items, spot traps, spot everything. You want to have good perception. Persuasion is one, especially for your melee character, you want. It helps you be able to actually talk to people in the game well. And use magic device. It's actually allows you to cast scrolls, use wands from spells, from even if you can't normally cast that spell, your class doesn't allow it. And you also get some other items that might be alignment locked or stuff. This sometimes let you use them anyway. So you get bonuses. You notice they're grouped. Groups. This is strength based, dexterity based, intelligence based, wisdom based, and charisma based. So they just get bonuses to your skills as well. But you know, you can only go up to whatever level you are. But now if it has a check here, it's a class skill. So like I have 2 here, plus 2 wisdom. I'm gonna go up in my religion. 1 point, plus the 2, that's 3. Get plus 3 because it's class skill. Okay. You want it there. You choose a feat. Everybody gets 1 feat at first level. Some get more. Heritage here. But you get feats through here. You want to pick different ones. Most do. Spell focus is nice for arcane casters. A lot of melee ones will tell you to take weapon focus. Should be down here. Oh yeah, you need a +1. Maybe to do that. If you do get weapon focus there, that's fine. Just realize it only gives you that in that particular weapon that gives you a bonus to hit. If you are planning to switch weapons a lot, or you don't know what one you're going to pick, don't pick it right away. Same thing with spell focus. If you're not sure what spells you're going to pick, don't pick it right away. Wait until you know. That's when I picked Illusion and Inco. Oppose schools. Yeah. When you do wizards, schools. I'm not going to go into much into this. Arcane casters get to pick their spells. Then, okay, we get down to where you can pick your voice.
You faint.
I'll go ahead.
I'm not touching that.
You can also do none if you don't feel like a voice. Pick a birthday. Don't have to use your real birthday. Whatever birthday you do, you get a bonus to your kingdom on the day that it comes out. Pick your alignment. May be locked depending on the class you picked. Go in the middle. Put in your name. And there's an overview of the character I created. It does not at all match the portrait because I was just fooling around today. But that's the basics for character creation in this game. I hope this was a little helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. And please come and join me on Friday night, where I'll be doing my first stream on Twitch. See how that goes together. Thank you very much and have a great rest of your day.